Hi friends.
World, don't you understand? Your love is a one in a million.
Welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for clicking onto this video. You know, it's that time of the month when your cute outfits don't go as planned and they turn into an oversized hoodie and sweatpants type of outfit. Your cramps are plot twisting against you and suddenly chocolate becomes a full-time personality trait. If you're anything like me, periods can be a lot, but over the years I picked up some tips and tricks, some must-haves, essentials for that time of the month. So today I wanted to spill all the tea on all my favorite and best period survival tips and how you can still stay a baddie during your period. And yes, I brought all the period essentials and my period kit that I want to show you guys in this video today. Before we get into anything, I think it's important to first understand your period and all the phases within your cycle, because I feel like if you have a better understanding of each of the phases you go through, I feel like you can be extra prepared for your period and that time of the month in general. Let's talk science. I feel like this can be a little boring for some of you guys, but your period isn't just a few days of bleeding. Your cycle actually has 4 phases. Phase 1 is your whole menstrual cycle. This is your actual period where you're bleeding. Your body is shedding the lining of your uterus, and that's why we're bleeding in the first place. Energy is usually really low and you usually like to sleep. This is the time where you have to be extra kind to yourself because it's alright, girl. Every girl goes through it. Phase 2 is your follicular phase, and this is the phase right after your period. This is when your energy starts like it's coming back. Your mood starts to feel a little bit better. You're not as low energy. This is usually a good time to start new activities, get back into the gym, and just to embrace the whole feeling of feeling good. Phase 3 is your ovulation phase. This is the phase where you're most fertile as a woman. Your hormones are at its absolute peak. You feel good. You might feel extra confident, extra flirty. And then phase 4 is your luteal phase, and this is when we get into like the whole PMS symptoms before your next period. You'll start feeling crampy, nausea. You might be getting a little bit more mood swings around this time. So this is also another time to give yourself that extra love and self-care it needs. Give yourself a break. Don't be too hard on yourself for feeling a little poopy. My goodness, I need a water break. Alrighty, that was a lot of information in itself. Like, once you understand these phases in your whole cycle, you can definitely just take advantage of how you are feeling and know how you're feeling during those phases. Okay, let's move into period essentials and all the necessities that I like to bring around with me during the time of my month. I have everything in this makeup bag right here. This is overall my whole emergency kit. I like to bring this around with me even when I'm not on my period. I feel like every girl should have one of these little emergency kits, one in their bag, one in their car, and just making sure you're prepared for any moment. Let's just dig in here. The first thing that's in here is my actual period. This has pretty much everything I need period wise that I keep inside of this little pouch. I'll have everything in this video linked down below so you guys can shop it as well. This is what it looks like when you open her. The first thing is a pair of extra underwear. You never know when you're gonna have a little accident. You always want to be one step ahead. No, they also have like disposable one-time use underwear that you can buy that I feel like would be super convenient for one of these little period pouches, because say your friend accidentally has an accident, you can just, there you go. But an extra pair of underwear is a must, an essential in your period pouch. Next thing are obviously pads. I usually like using pads. I know a lot of girls don't like using pads because they can be uncomfy. It feels like you're wearing a diaper. I used to use tampons, but nowadays, now that I'm a little older, I like using pads. I like having different size pads in my little period pouch just in case, but these are the long ones and then these ones are the regular ones, so two different pad options in here. And then I also found these pads that I want to also add into my little period pouch today, but they're the Always Pocket full-size pad, but I thought these were literally perfect to add into my little period pouch and essentials. but they come in these little to-go things, and I thought they were super cute and super convenient to just throw into my period pouch. So I'm gonna add 2 of them in here. I know I said I only use pads, but I like being that friend that's always prepared, so I always bring 2 tampons in here as well. I always like being prepared, so having this in here also makes me feel extra sure. And say for example one day I forget to re-up on the pads that are in here, at least I have a backup if I really need to use tampons. I can use them. Say you're on vacation or you're planning on going swimming, at least you are prepared and you have them with you. Another thing I like keeping in my period pouch are these toilet seat covers, because if you're a little OCD like me, I cannot be touching my butt on public toilets. Like, so I got these cute little pink toilet seat covers. Toilet seat covers are just hygienic and they make me feel a little bit better using public restrooms. These have been a literal lifesaver for me. My panty liners, of course, because every girl needs their panty liners, especially for like those before days before your period and the after days of your period. Non-scented wipes. These are Bear wipes, but I like having wipes just to clean up around the area. If you're a girl and you're on your period and you had your period, y'all know like it can literally get so messy down there so fast. And just overall staying hygienic during your period. I feel like during your period is one of those times where you have to be extra hygienic and extra clean with your body because there's a lot going on. Hormones are everywhere. The next thing I have in here is a must, an essential, and a chocolate. I'm not one of those people who are going to tell you to not eat chocolate on your period. If you're craving that chocolate, girl, I always make sure to get these little chocolates and put them in my bag just to, like, if I have that craving, I can satisfy it at that moment, be like, and make myself feel better, because when you're on your period, that's the time where you have to be the nicest to yourself. There's a lot going on. You're feeling a lot of things. Your body is in the midst of changing and doing a lot. So it's good to have grace for yourself and treat yourself. Also have a bedazzled Vaseline in here. I feel like having chapstick is super important. Like sometimes I'll be forgetting. So having a chapstick in my period pouch is super convenient, because you never know, it could be one of those terrible days where you forget everything at home. And you're like, wait, I brought my period pouch. I have my emergency kit. At least I have some chapstick in here. I have some tissues in case you are literally crying and you need a tissue. Just kidding. I also have a little thing of disposable paper soaps, and this is literally just in case the like public washrooms run out of soap. I like being prepared and having that soap on hand. I also have these little armpit sweat things that you put on your t-shirt so you don't like sweat through. If you're like me and you're a sweaty girl, especially during that time of your month where your hormones are crazy, literally a lifesaver. They boost your confidence, because if you're like me and you used to get like sweat stains or pit stains, then these literally just absorb the sweat. They make you feel a little bit more confident. You don't always have to have your arms down. The last thing I have in here is a scrunchie. You never know when you just want to tie your hair up into a messy bun. 100% a must, an essential, a need. But that's pretty much everything in my period pouch. But I also have a few more goodies in here that I also bring that just don't fit in this bag. But some more essentials is my backup hand sanitizer. You never know when you're going to need hand sanitizer, so I have this brand new pack in my emergency kit just in case. Another girly hygiene essential, especially during that time of the month where your hormones are off. You're one of those people that smell during their period and like feel like you have BO, or you're more sweaty during your period. These are so good. You literally just take them out, they're a little wipe, and you wipe your underarms, deodorize your armpits instead of just like wiping them with like a paper towel or something. These actually will leave you smelling fresh and feeling clean. So having these are super convenient and I thought is an essential to keep in my emergency kit. Another thing is a hairbrush. This is my small little hairbrush. You never know when you're going to use to brush your hair, so having this with you at all times is Another thing is pimple patches. I feel like when you're on your period, you break out a little bit more often, even especially like the few days before your period, you break out. And I have these cute little pimple patches I love carrying around with me. It's the Cramps shop ones. They're Hello Kitty, like super cute. And I feel like literally little things like this that you just pop onto your pimple to hide it will literally make you feel so much better about yourself. Like having a cute little Hello Kitty sticker on you definitely boost your mood. Anything to boost your mood during that time of the month. Hand lotion, of course. This is my favorite hand lotion. It's the Glycerin hand cream. One of the only hand creams that actually moisturize my hands. And after going to the washroom and washing your hands and hand sanitizing, your hands can get dry. So eye drops, because during that time of the month things can feel dry and that includes my eyes. And I just feel like this is a must in an emergency kit. You never know when you're going to need some eye drops. A body mist. This is the Salto Genera number 68. I love this scent in my emergency kit at all times. I love this scent. I always like to make sure I bring her around with me. You need your deodorant. Always like having a travel size mini deodorant in my emergency kit, because you never know, it could be one of those days you forget to put on deodorant. You do not want to be that person that literally people are holding their breath in, trying not to breathe around you. You do not want to be that person. You do not want to be that girl. Having a deodorant on the go is so important. Have one in your bag, have one in your car, I don't care, bring one around. It's not that hard, girlies. A pack of gum, because I feel like gum is an essential regardless if you're on your period or not. Last but not least, in my emergency kit, I always like to make sure I have Advil, whether it's Advil, Midol, Tylenol. During that time of months where you're going to have your period cramps, you're going to have back is going to hurt, having Advil literally saves my life, especially when cramps are feeling so bad that I don't want to do anything. Popping in Advil, waiting 10 minutes, I'm like, okay, I could do this. That's pretty much everything in my period bag slash emergency kit. All of the essentials every girl should have when it's that time of the month, or just in general as a girl. You never know if your bestie is gonna have their period. At least you know you're prepared and you can help them out and be that girl to them. Let's talk about period cramps and how you can survive the whole period cramp situation. And if you're a girl who suffers from really bad period cramps, make sure you know when to see a doctor if your period cramps are too painful for you to do everyday tasks. That is not normal. You gotta go to the doctor, make sure everything is fine, you are fine. Let's talk pain relief and how to deal with period cramps. I'm someone, growing up, I never had period cramps. I never had to experience it until I entered my early 20s and life switched around. I think I entered my second puberty and my body's a little bit different now. Things have changed a little bit from when I was a teenager with a period versus now that I'm an adult with a period. There's a lot of different ways you can deal with period cramps. Like I said, I always carry Advil around in my period bag as an emergency. I don't like relying on Advil to soothe my period cramps because I don't want my body to get used to this. So also have other ways to relieve some of my period cramps, and a lot of it is heat therapy. I've been using a lot of heat therapy. I know you can get the heat packs, like the disposable ones that you can just use during the day, but I personally love using these heat warming pads that you just literally lay down and put it on, and it does the magic while you're laying in bed, while you're watching a movie. During that time of the month, I feel like having things like this is actually another heating pad. That's where the beanbag goes. It's just a heating pad. You literally just the microwave and warm it up for a minute, 30 seconds to a minute, and it stays warm for quite a while. I'll literally just do this while I'm editing or watching a movie or show with my boyfriend during the time I have period cramps, and usually this helps. I personally like gua sha-ing during that time of the month when I have period cramps. I feel like that also relieves pain. And also doing light exercise. I know during that time of the month, probably the last thing you want to be doing is hitting the gym or doing a workout, but trust me, moving your body actually does help relieve those period cramps pain. So getting your mind off of it and not always staying at home and getting out, doing something can actually relieve those period cramps. Making sure you give yourself the extra love and care it needs during this time is the most important thing you can do for yourself. Even though you're on your period, do not go and sit in just a baggy pair of sweats. If you're going to wear a baggy pair of sweats, I'm expecting you to accessorize the crap out of your gray sweatpants sets. I do not care, but making sure you feel good, whether it's journaling, doing this extra self-care, skincare, doing something you love like painting, going on a walk, doing those kind of things can really boost your mood during that time of the month. And I feel like that's one of the most important things. I don't know how many times I've said that in this video, but I feel like that self-care and self-love is the main thing you need to be giving yourself during that time of the month. Honestly, if you do that, I feel like going through your period will be less stressful. And yeah, another tip and trick I like to do is tracking your period. I know I should have said this earlier in the video, but tracking your period is super important because understanding which phase you're in during that time of your period is so important. And I like using the Flow app. It literally tracks your period. It says like your period is in 4 days, and you could just track how many times your period is. It gives you tips and tricks on, it shows you a bunch of information about your period and a lot of things that you can learn on this app. Now I can see, oh, is my cycle normal? Is it abnormal? Managing your period during work and school, I feel like that is a huge thing too, is battling the whole period war at school or work. If you're doing all of the other things that you're doing on your period, I feel like going to school and work will be a breeze if you're giving yourself that love and care that your body needs. I recommend always wearing dark pants during your period, just because if there are any accidents, you can hide it a little bit better. So wearing dark pants is a must during your period. I like having dark sweatpants, dark comfy pants, dark flowy pants, dark skirts. They're your best friend during your time of the month. And making sure you're excusing yourself at every 2 to 4 hours, nothing more than 4 hours, guys. If you are waiting 4 hours to excuse yourself to go to the washroom, that's too long. Like for me personally, I like going at that 2-hour mark just to make sure I'm being extra clean and extra hygienic during that time of the month. If anyone says you're into the washroom too much because you're on your period, you're crazy, girl. Just go to the washroom. Like, the worst thing is having an accident and having to run home feeling embarrassed because you stained your pants or any of that stuff. So you gotta make sure you're prepared, girl. I feel like those are most of my period tips. If you want to see more period and hygiene type videos, I'm so down to make more of these. If you guys have any other period tips and tricks and hacks, make sure you comment them down below because I'd love to hear them. But thank you guys so much for clicking onto this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to see more of me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
I wanna please you any way I can. I wanna share my world. Don't you understand? Your love is a one in a million. It goes on and on.